been enjoying the current anime season? I actually find it quite strong. I know everyone's hyped for Jujutsu Kaisen, Haikyuu and all of that, but how about we take a break and look ahead at the wonderful season in front of us? After browsing through the chart some time ago, I can't say that it's an exaggeration that I'm stoked for what's to come during the winter 2021 season. Before that, why don't you share with everyone what you're watching in the current season? Fill the comment section with your favorites. Then, regular watchers who haven't done so yet, hit the subscribe button and let's get going. Well, what do we have here? An isekai to kickstart the list, of course. So yeah, the story goes like this. Demon King and hero fight each other. Their fight causes a huge explosion in the classroom of a certain high school. Boom! Dead protagonist. Reincarnated as a spider. Yeah, our protagonist, someone who has the lowest reputation in class, of course, gets reincarnated not as an overpowered character or a master of magic, but a spider. What can such a lowly creature do in this treacherous fantasy world? Turns out a lot, actually, especially if you've got the willpower that our protagonist has to survive and adapt. Now, I've probably said that one too many times already, but I enjoyed the story as it had some moments where it felt like a horror series. The closest comparison that I can think of off the top of my head is Slime, but this is nowhere near Slime levels of comedy or parody with its overpowered characters. Why not continue the other world train with the next entry, the much-awaited Log Horizon Season 3. Yeah, they made us wait for a while for this one. I actually lost hope for a third season of Log Horizon a couple of years back with all the issues from the author, and we know how the Japanese react to those. Nonetheless, the seemingly impossible became a reality when the third season of Log Horizon got announced after around half a decade. Then more twists in the real world arc got this postponed, but the wait is finally over. Log Horizon will be making its return in early 2021, and what a story arc we'll get. It feels good to see Shiroe and the gang again, and this time they get heavily tangled with the Round Table Alliance. Will an already shaky alliance crumble in the face of pressure? If you're up for some more trapped in a video game shenanigans with more focus on society building instead of fighting, it's never too late to start watching Log Horizon now, starting from the first season. It's definitely worth it. We finally end with the isekai titles with the next entry on the list, the second season of the Quintessential Quintuplets. Quintessential Quintuplets has been a surprise. I initially watched it for the all-star voice actor cast, but I ended up enjoying it a lot more than I expected I would. It really helped that the characters each have charm and are really funny, and for a harem title like this, you don't really need a lot more. It may seem at first to be your standard harem, but Quintessential Quintuplets has great character development, and the stark contrast in the personalities of the Quints really force our protagonist to deal with them differently. It's a nice mix that seems so generic, yet unique and enjoyable at the end of the day. I really wouldn't mind a second season of this, and I think it's a lot more popular with other shows of the same genre for a good reason. Given the general reception with how the manga ended and some of the speculation regarding this season, we might have the story end in the second season. I wonder if they'll do an anime original ending here with the fans' preferred winner. Quintuplets was but a momentary reprieve. We take the plunge to another world again with Mushoku Tensei. You thought the isekai titles were done, didn't you? Fortunately or unfortunately, we're just getting started. With all the talk in the community about this title, how could we not include Mushoku Tensei on the list? Did you see how excited some people, mostly readers, were when this thing got announced? For those who've been in the light novel community for a while, it wouldn't surprise me if you're quite familiar with the story of Rudius Greyrat, a 34-year-old who hails from our boring old world. He retains his knowledge in his second life, driven not to repeat the same mistakes that he did prior to his date with Truck-kun. However, there's one rather undesirable trait that he prefers not to let go of: his perversion, and he dreams of making moves on the best women in the world. Having an isekai that acts as a more of a coming-of-age story is quite rare, relatively speaking, but given how saturated the genre has become, I wouldn't be surprised to see an isekai of pretty much every possible plot point imaginable at this point. A lot of people praise its world building, but whether those good things would translate into the anime format or not, we're just gonna have to wait and see. My name dropping was a premonition, and the next show on our list is Slime Season 2.
はじめましてかな。もうすぐさようならだけど。君の町がね、邪魔なのよ。だから潰すことにしたの。なんだって？
Are you ready for more ReZero? You better be, because the second season of Reincarnated as a Slime is coming your way. Initially scheduled to air in fall 2020, it was the victim of the numerous anime postponements, given that 2020 has been an outlier, a weird year to say the least. But nothing can keep a good show down, and this second season is set to hit our screens this January. It's easy to point at Slime as a protagonist shows off how overpowered he is and everyone loves him for its show, but I think that Slime's quite the charismatic show in its own right. This allowed it to rise above the pack amongst isekai titles when it first aired a couple of years back, and with the first season done, it's time to start moving to the more serious parts of the story. All signs point to this being the darkest arc yet in Slime's relatively light-hearted run. Perhaps there'd be a challenge that even the strongest protagonist won't be able to solve, and that's not to mention the emotional roller coaster that we should be ready for this season. ReZero makes his grand return this January, and you better be there when he does. We resume with not an isekai. Yep, the meme's dead. For now. Alright, have some B-stars then. You know, I have a confession to make. I initially dismissed Beastars when I first saw it. It just didn't seem too much of my thing, even with all the accolades and the good things being said about its manga. Then, before the first season aired, I read some of its manga, and hey, it's actually a damn good series from pretty much every angle. Yeah, it seemed to be anime Zootopia at first glance, but Beastars has thoroughly impressed me with its themes related to prejudice and self-discovery. It's also a lot darker than I expected, and while I strongly maintain that dark doesn't automatically equate to good, it worked well for something like Beastars. The first season was a sleeper hit that kind of took the community by storm when it aired, and I can't wait to see more in its second season. Stop sleeping on Beastars, everyone. Start catching up, and I'm sure that you'll end up not being able to wait for the upcoming season 2 soon enough. Next up on the list is a rom-com anime, Horimiya. I'm not sure about you, but I really like these fluffy romantic comedy shows. It's a good change of pace, isn't it? The setup of this series is a lot simpler than you might think. Basically, two people with hidden sides to themselves encounter each other and fall for each other. How will things work out for the idol with socializing issues and the otaku who's surprisingly gentle despite having all those piercings and bad boy markings? It's been quite a while since we've had one of these shows that isn't a harem, and I think that Horimiya, with its twists and genuinely interesting developments, deserves all the hype that it gets from the fanbase. Next, we take a look at Dr. Stone's sequel. Man, this list is becoming eerily close to the most anticipated 2021 shows list I put up some time ago. Hey, I can't help it. The upcoming season is just so strong when you take into account hype and anticipation from the fan base with all these sequels. Well, Dr. Stone is back, and it's bringing with it what we all love from the series: science, action, exploration, and more science, hell yeah. The fan favorite comes storming back with the continuation of the Stone Wars arc, and it looks like we'll also make some headway into knowing about the truth of the world and the initial petrification that changed everything. One of the most beloved shonen of 2019 makes its much-awaited return, and I swear I'm not the only one excited to see Senku grace us with his presence once again. Is there any way we can fast forward to January already? It's only a little over a month to go, but the wait is just killing me.
VS 司帝国本土決戦ストーンウォーズの開戦だ。
Coming up second is none other than the continuation of ReZero's second season.
感情を抱けるのは君とラムの2人しかいない。君を心から 信じている。
They pulled a fast one on us, gotta admit it. Could they have picked a worse way to end the first core of ReZero Season 2 than that? Not bad in a legit bad way, but it's one of the biggest cliffhangers that we could ever get, as it revealed a lot of the secrets behind the witches and the truth behind one of the most enigmatic characters the series has so far. Luckily, the wait isn't too long, and we get to have our continuation this January. The suffering continues, but as we all know, a light at the end of the tunnel awaits Subaru after all these trials. Will he finally be the hero that helps Emilia clear the trials and rescue everyone from Sanctuary? Probably, but I can't wait to see how he'll piece together all the knowledge from his revives to finally succeed in doing so. Oh, and let's not forget, Subaru also has a mansion to save. Whoa, that sure is a lot to take in for what's looking to be an exciting way to cap off the current arc of one of the decade's most beloved isekais. In a mirror of a previous list, we have Promised Neverland Season 2 at the top of the list, right after ReZero. It's no surprise that one of the standout shonen in the modern era has the title of the most anticipated anime locked up. ReZero was hype, but I think that the general populace in 2020 had an even stronger reception to Promised Neverland, and needless to say, this is the sequel everyone wanted and got. And it's funny because whenever I talked about Promised Neverland before, I never failed to mention how the anime ended on a decent note. Instead of a blatant cliffhanger ending like a lot of titles, no game, no life, Promised Neverland actually wrapped up in a way where you can call it a day and just read the manga afterwards. Nonetheless, we'll be seeing the continuation of the kids' journey, and after escaping the hell that is Gracefield House, they now come face to face with the open society of demons. The question of what lies in the world beyond might be trite at this point, but in a series like Promised Neverland, it's a genuinely intriguing one. I mean, aren't you curious as to what really happened between mankind and demonkind that was beyond the kids' knowledge, leading to the whole farm system? We might get some hints to help us answer those questions as the story moves on in its exciting next chapter. So, how does the winter 2021 season look to you? Looking really good, huh? It's a sequel galore, so I might consider doing another list soon with no sequels. For that, stay tuned. If you enjoyed watching and want to have more content like this, make sure to browse through my channel and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, you might want to check out my other channel where I do video essays on a lot of popular shows like Attack on Titan, Fate, and Sword Art Online. Mostly the former. Well then, that's got to do it for now. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video. See you.